You are sitting on a bus. The seat beneath you is soft and wide and warm. A thick cushion holds you gently from behind. Your shoulders sink back into it. Your hands rest in your lap, loose and easy. You are not going anywhere in a hurry. There is nowhere you need to be. There is only this seat, this gentle warmth, and the quiet hum of the engine beneath you. The bus moves slowly through the night. Outside the window, the last lights of a small town are fading behind you. You watched them a few moments ago, those pale orange streetlights, those lit windows of low wooden houses, that single petrol station glowing quietly at the edge of the road. They are gone now, or nearly gone. The very last one, a yellow porch light on a white farmhouse, blinks softly in the distance and then disappears behind a low rise in the road. You are alone with the dark now, and the dark here is very deep. It is a kind of dark you do not often see. There are no city lights bleeding into the sky above. There are no headlights from other cars. There is only the pale cone of the bus's own lights moving slowly across the road ahead, and beyond that, on every side, a vast and quiet blackness stretching away in all directions. The road is straight. It runs forward between two low banks of dark volcanic rock, heading north and west into the open landscape. The road surface is smooth and slightly damp, and the bus tires make a soft, continuous sound against it. A low, rolling whisper, a sound like a long exhale. It does not change. It does not hurry. It simply continues, steady and calm, carrying you forward into the quiet. Breathe in and breathe out. The air inside the bus is warm, not too warm, just comfortably warm, the kind of warmth that makes your muscles relax without you deciding to relax them. Your shoulders drop a little lower. Your jaw unclenches just slightly. Your hands grow heavier in your lap. There are only a few other passengers on this bus tonight. You can see the tops of their heads, a few rows ahead of you. One person has their head turned toward the window. Another has a scarf wrapped around their neck and their chin tucked low toward their chest. Nobody is talking. The bus is quiet, save for that low hum, that soft whisper of tires on the road, and the very faint creak of the chassis as the bus settles gently around a long, slow curve. You look out your own window. The glass is cool against the side of your face when you lean just slightly toward it. You do not press your cheek to it. You simply rest close enough to feel the cool air radiating from the surface, and you look out into the Icelandic night. The land out there is extraordinary in its stillness. It is a landscape, unlike most places on this earth. There are no trees. There are no hedgerows or fences or the soft rolling hills of farmland. There is only the dark, open ground, stretching away in every direction under the sky. And the ground itself is made of something ancient. Lava fields, cooled and settled over thousands and thousands of years, shaped into long, low ridges and smooth, dark plains, covered here and there with soft, gray moss that you cannot quite see in the darkness, but that you know is there. Soft as a blanket, still as sleep, the bus moves on. There is a kind of peace in this darkness that is hard to explain. It is not an empty peace. It is a full peace, a peace that has weight to it, the weight of old stone and old sky and a land that has been here long before there were any windows to look out of, any buses to travel through it, any eyes to watch the night unfold over it. You let your breath slow a little more. The engine of the bus hums. It is a low, smooth sound, without peaks or interruptions. It fills the cabin just enough to make the silence comfortable. You are wrapped in that sound. It vibrates very gently through the seat, through the cushion at your back, through the soles of your feet resting flat on the floor. It is like being held just very lightly by something steady and reliable and going nowhere fast. The road curves gently to the left. Through the window, the dark landscape shifts. A long, low ridge of volcanic rock passes slowly by on your right, its surface rough and uneven, but its outline against the sky as smooth as something sleeping. Beyond it, the flat plain opens up again, wide and dark and quiet. You notice now that your eyes feel heavy, not uncomfortably heavy, pleasantly heavy, the kind of heaviness that invites you to let them fall half closed, to let the scene outside the window soften and blur just slightly at the edges. You do not fight this feeling. You let your eyelids drop to that halfway place where the world outside becomes a soft impression of shapes and darkness, and the inside of the bus is warm and close and still. The bus travels on. The road ahead is empty. There are no other vehicles in either direction. The pale headlights of the bus pick out the white painted center line of the road, steady and rhythmic, passing under the bus at a slow and even pace. Line after line after line, each one the same, each one drawing you a little further into the calm night, a little further from the town behind you, a little further from any thought of tomorrow or yesterday. There is only now. There is only this slow moving through the dark. You settle a little deeper into your seat. Your head rests against the window frame. There is a small fold of your coat between your cheek and the cool wall of the bus, just enough padding to make it comfortable. You feel the very faint vibration of the bus against your cheek, a low, constant trembling, like a purr. Outside, the sky is very clear. You noticed this when you first got on the bus, at the small terminal in the town, when you stepped outside to find your seat. The sky was already brilliant with stars, so many stars that the darker patches between them seemed almost surprising. Bands and clusters and single points of cold, steady light scattered across the black from one horizon to the other. And the horizon out here is very far away. There is nothing to interrupt it. No tall buildings, no hills of any real height. Just the dark, flat land, and then above it, the enormous sky. You look upward now as much as the window will allow. The stars are still there, perfectly still, perfectly cold and clear. They do not twinkle much in this dry air. They simply shine, each one in its place, unwavering. You find yourself looking at one star, and then another, following a loose trail of them across the upper edge of the window, until your gaze slows and softens, and you are no longer looking at any one star in particular, but at the whole dark sweep of the sky above. Breathe out. The bus rounds another long, gentle curve, and as it does, something changes at the edge of your vision. You notice it first as a faint brightening. Not a light, exactly. Not a beam or a point of light. More like the sky in that part of the window has become slightly less dark. A pale suggestion of something luminous hovering above the horizon to the north. You watch it. It does not move at first. It simply sits there, a soft pale shimmer at the very edge of things, like the memory of a sunset in a direction where there was no sunset. Like the sky has taken a quiet breath and let a little light slip out through the seam. You lean just slightly closer to the glass. Your breath fogs it for a moment and you shift back, letting the small cloud clear. And when it does, the shimmer is still there. And now, as you watch it, it is very slowly, very gently beginning to change. It grows, not quickly. Nothing about this is quick. Everything about this night, this bus, this landscape, moves at the pace of something that has no reason to hurry. The shimmer at the horizon begins to lift, ever so slowly, like a curtain rising in a theater where the whole world is the stage. It rises from the flat, dark line of the land and begins to move upward into the sky. And as it rises, it gains color. The first color is white, a cool, clear, almost silver white, like the inside of a seashell, like the color of moonlight on fresh snow. It spreads slowly across the lower arc of the northern sky, soft and even, a gentle wash of pale light. You feel something quiet and wondering move through you. Not excitement exactly, not the sharp kind of feeling that makes your heart beat faster. This is the other kind, the slow kind, the kind that settles into you like warm water, like the first deep breath after a long day, like the moment you lie down and feel every muscle in your body remember that it is allowed to rest. The curtain rises a little further, and now, along the lower edge of the shimmer, a color begins to emerge. It is green, a soft, pale, luminous green, unlike any green you have seen in daylight. Not the green of leaves or grass, something older, something that comes from very far away and passes through a great deal of cold and silence before it reaches your eyes. It moves. The green ripples slowly, like a reflection in very still water when a single drop falls into it, and the rings move outward from the center, slow and wide. The light ripples across the lower sky in long, gentle waves, each one dissolving into the next before the next one arrives. You watch. The bus carries you forward. The road stretches ahead, pale and straight, disappearing into the dark. The lava fields on either side of it are now faintly lit from above by this soft green shimmer, and you can just begin to make out their texture. The rough, broken surface of old, cooled rock, the gentle cover of pale moss on the lower stones, a small pool of still water somewhere nearby, reflecting the sky. It is all very quiet. Even the color is quiet. That is the thing about the northern lights that surprises most people the first time they see them. You might expect something so vast and strange to make a sound. Some low hum, some crackle of cold energy, something to match the scale of what is happening above. But there is nothing. The lights move in perfect silence. They have no voice. They simply are up there in the dark, enormous and calm, and utterly indifferent to anything happening below them. And somehow that silence makes them more beautiful. The green deepens very slightly along its brightest edge, not dramatically, just a shade or two richer, like a lamp being turned up by the smallest increment. The lower arc of the display begins to curve, bending slowly from a flat, horizon-hugging band into something more rounded, more arc-like, stretching a little further across the sky in both directions. Your eyes follow it from one edge of the window to the other. To the left, it fades into the dark. To the right, it bends away behind the curve of the bus, and you can no longer see it, but you know it is continuing there, spreading across the night sky above the roof of the bus, above the dark volcanic plain, above the still pools of water and the soft gray moss. The bus slows almost imperceptibly for a moment, just a touch of the brakes, so gentle you feel it more in your body than in any particular sound or lurch. The bus steadies again at its slow, even pace. Someone ahead of you shifts in their seat, resettling, pulling their jacket a little tighter around them. A quiet sound of fabric and then stillness again. You breathe in slowly. The air in the bus smells faintly of something, not unpleasantly. A mild, neutral warmth. The faint ghost of someone's coffee from a few hours ago. The clean mineral smell of cold air that has been let in at the last stop and has gradually warmed to match the interior of the bus. It is a comforting smell, an ordinary human smell mixed in with the extraordinary quiet of this night. You look back out the window. The northern lights are still there. They have not gone. They have, if anything, grown a little more present, a little more settled into the sky, as if they have decided to stay for a while. The green arc is wider now, its edges softer, blending into the dark of the surrounding sky in long, gentle gradients. Where the green is palest, at the very edges of the display, it fades so gently into the darkness that you cannot say exactly where the light ends and the night begins. That edge is peaceful to look at. You find your gaze settling there, at that soft, undecided boundary between light and dark. Your eyes rest easily in that place. There is nothing sharp there, nothing to startle or demand, just the slow, beautiful merging of a little light into a lot of darkness. Your eyelids are heavy again. You let them drop just slightly. Through the fringe of your lashes, the northern lights blur into something even softer. The green becomes a warm impression. The sky becomes a gentle depth. Everything softens just that little bit more. Breathe out. The bus travels on through the Icelandic night. The road is very good here, smooth and well maintained, built to handle whatever this landscape offers. Snow in winter, sometimes, though not tonight. Rain and mist, often. But tonight the road is simply dark and quiet and dry, and the bus moves along it at its easy pace, and the miles pass without effort, without urgency, without any particular destination pressing itself upon you. You think, for a moment, about where you are going, and then you let the thought drift away. It does not matter right now. You will get where you are going when you get there. The bus knows the road. The driver, a quiet figure at the front whose face you have not really seen, knows the way. You do not need to navigate. You do not need to watch for turns. You do not need to do anything at all except sit here in this warm seat with your coat around you and the window beside you and the northern lights spreading slowly across the sky outside. You are held. That is the feeling. You are held by the seat, by the warmth, by the slow, continuous motion of the bus, by the vast quiet of the landscape all around you. You are held as gently and completely as a child held in sleeping arms, moving through a night full of quiet miracles without needing to understand any of them. The lights shift. A long, slow ripple passes through the lower edge of the aurora. A wave of slightly brighter green moves from left to right across the sky, taking several seconds to complete its journey from one side of your window to the other. It is like watching a slow tide move across a luminous sea. Smooth, patient, going nowhere in a hurry. As the ripple fades, the lights rearrange themselves slightly. The central arc tilts, just a fraction, and a thin wisp of the display reaches upward from the main body, like a tendril of smoke rising from a calm fire. It stretches upward slowly, curving slightly as it rises, until it extends perhaps a third of the way up the sky. At its tip, the color fades almost to white, almost invisible, just barely there. You watch that thin tendril of light. It sways very gently, almost like breathing. A slow sway one direction and then the other, so gradual that you are not quite sure it is moving until you look away and look back and find it in a slightly different position. It sways like something living, not alive in any way that requires anything of you. Just alive in the way that the sea is alive, the way the wind is alive, the way sleep itself is alive, moving through you and through everything, endlessly and without asking. The bus crosses a bridge. It is a short bridge, over a river you cannot see but can sense somehow, a slight dip in the road, a brief change in the sound of the engine, a faint coolness that seems to rise from below and brush the window for just a moment. And then the bridge is behind you, and the road continues, straight and dark and even. On the far side of the bridge, the lava fields open out into a wider plain. The land here is flatter, more open. The dark ground stretches away in all directions, unmarked by any building or fence or light. Just the open volcanic plain under the open sky. And above the plain, the northern lights are now more visible than ever, because there is more sky to hold them in. Nothing interrupts the view. The horizon is a perfect dark line, and above it the aurora hangs in its quiet splendor, wider now, curving across more of the sky. You sit up just slightly to see better, and then you settle back again. There is no need to sit up. The window shows you all you need to see. Lean back. Let your weight fall into the seat. Let the bus hold you. Let the road carry you forward. Let your eyes rest on the light without grasping at it. The aurora is pale green along its lower edge. Above that, the green lightens and softens toward a cooler white, like green glass held up to a weak winter sun. And at the very top of the display, where it fades into the surrounding dark, there is the faintest suggestion of another color. It may be your imagination. It may be real. A very subtle tint of violet, of mauve, of something cool and distant and barely there. It is not worth trying to name. It exists at the edge of naming, just as the light exists at the edge of the sky. You breathe in, and as you breathe in, you take in something of the quality of this night, something of its vastness and its stillness, something of the cold and the dark and the silent, ancient land passing slowly by outside the window, something of the extraordinary ordinariness of sitting on a warm bus through a landscape full of wonders, with no particular plan except to arrive, eventually, somewhere. You breathe out, and as you breathe out, you release something. You may not know exactly what. It does not matter. Something that had been held in your shoulders, in your chest, in the quiet clenching of a long day. It loosens and flows out with your breath and is gone, left behind in the air of the bus, mixing with the warmth of the engine and the faint smell of coffee and the low hum of the journey. The bus moves on. Outside, the plane continues. A thin film of frost is forming on the low stones near the edge of the road. You can see it in the very edge of the headlight beam, a faint whitening of the dark rocks, a crystalline gleam that catches the light for just a moment and then is past. The night is cold out there. You know this. But in here in the bus, the warmth is perfect. You are comfortable. Deeply, simply, unremarkably comfortable. The kind of comfortable that you forget to notice until you stop and pay attention to it. Your feet are warm. Your back is supported. Your head is at rest against the gentle padding of the window frame. Your hands in your lap are loose, fingers slightly curled, relaxed in the way hands only relax when the rest of you has already decided there is nothing left to do. A few more kilometers pass. The road bends very slightly northward. As it does, the northern lights shift in your window, sliding slowly from the center to the right, and then, as the road straightens again, drifting back. The movement is so slow, and the lights are so soft that you could almost believe the sky itself is gently rocking. A slow, enormous rocking, like the world itself is settling into sleep. Perhaps it is. Perhaps everything is always settling into sleep, every night, all over this turning planet. Every field and forest and city and ocean, every mountain and river and frozen plain, settling into the dark, the way a body settles into a bed, the way a breath settles into the bottom of the lungs before it turns and comes back out. You let your thoughts drift. They are not sharp thoughts. They are the soft kind, the kind that float and change shape slowly, the kind that do not demand to be followed to a conclusion. A face you like, a sound from somewhere in your past that was pleasant, the texture of something warm, the memory of a meal that was simple and good. These thoughts move through you like the aurora moves through the sky, slowly, without urgency, fading at the edges into the surrounding dark. The bus hums. The road whispers under the tires. The northern lights are still there. You close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, not yet, just to rest them, to let the green and white impressions of the aurora settle on the inside of your eyelids as a warm afterglow, softer than the actual light, more your own. You hold them there for a few seconds, warm, still, luminous in their quiet way. Then you open your eyes again, slowly, and the real lights are there waiting for you, unchanged. The display has grown while your eyes were closed, or perhaps the bus has moved further into the heart of it. The arc of pale green now spans most of the northern sky, from low on the left horizon to well past the center of your window's view. It is broader now, its middle band more definite, its green richer and more even. And from that broad central band, new tendrils are rising. Two of them, or perhaps three, slim and wandering columns of light that reach upward from the main body of the aurora with the unhurried ease of smoke rising from a fire that has found its steady heat. Each tendril is slightly different in brightness. One is almost white. One carries more of the green. They rise slowly, each at its own pace, each curving slightly differently, as if taking slightly different paths toward some part of the sky that you cannot quite see from here. You follow the brightest one with your eyes. It rises and rises, and then, near its top, it begins to bend, very gently, like a tall tree in a very light wind, leaning just slightly in one direction. It bends and then holds its shape, trembling almost imperceptibly, and you realize with a quiet kind of wonder that you are looking at something moving in real time, something happening right now, above you, vast and indifferent and beautiful, and you are here to see it. You are here. That is a thought worth having very softly in a moment like this. You are here. You are warm. You are resting. You are moving slowly through the dark toward somewhere you will reach when you reach it. And above you, the sky is doing something magnificent in perfect silence. The bus passes a small sign at the side of the road. You cannot read it in the dark, but you see the white rectangle briefly in the peripheral light of the headlamps, and then it is gone. Some distance marker, some quiet confirmation that you are on the right road, heading in the right direction, that the world outside has not forgotten about roads and signs and the ordinary structures of getting from one place to another, even out here in this extraordinary emptiness. Breathe in, breathe out. Your breath is slower now than it was when you first sat down. You may have noticed this without noticing it. The rhythm of it has matched itself to the rhythm of the journey, to the rhythm of the landscape outside, to the slow and patient rhythm of the lights above. Everything is breathing at the same pace. The aurora, the bus, the dark ground. You, a long, slow interval of calm. The lights do not change dramatically for several minutes. They simply continue as they are, steady and softly glowing, their slow internal movements too gentle now to track from one moment to the next. You could be watching a painting almost, a painting that breathes. You let your head sink a little further into the padding at the window. Your eyes are at the half-closed point again, that comfortable midway between waking and sleep. The aurora is a soft blur of greenish light in the upper part of your vision. The dark plain below it is a soft blur of deeper dark. The road ahead, visible past the edge of the window in the very front of the bus, is a soft grey ribbon fading into more soft grey dark. Everything soft, everything quiet, everything moving gently and without urgency through the Icelandic night. The bus crosses another very slight rise in the road, and as it does, you get, for just a moment, the briefest sense of the landscape opening up even more beyond. As if the plain has widened somehow, as if the horizon has pulled back just a little further in all directions. The sky feels larger. The stars above the aurora feel more numerous, and then the road flattens again, and you are back at the normal level, moving through the normal dark, and everything settles back to where it was. But something has changed slightly. You feel it rather than see it. A shift in the quality of the light outside. The aurora is doing something different now. Very slowly, the display is brightening, not dramatically, not the way a light is switched on, with a sudden and complete change. More the way dawn brightens, if dawn could be this green and this cold and this silent. The overall brightness of the aurora increases by some small amount with every minute that passes, the way a tide rises, the way a color deepens as the sun moves higher, gradually and without announcement. The green is richer now, and at the base of the display, where it meets the dark horizon, you notice something new. A band of slightly warmer color, still cool, still fundamentally the pale, luminous color of the northern lights, but warmer along that bottom edge. Perhaps the very faintest suggestion of gold or amber, the color of sunlight seen through deep water. It runs along the horizon like a quiet tide of warmth beneath the cooler green above. You look at it for a long time. The bus is very quiet. The passengers ahead of you are entirely still. The driver is a motionless figure behind the great dark windscreen. The engine hums its unchanging hum. The road whispers its unchanging whisper. And outside, the sky is doing something that has been happening over this landscape for thousands of years. Every winter, every clear night, unremarked and unrecorded for most of those years, witnessed only by the moss and the lava and the still, cold water of the occasional lake. You are fortunate to see it. You let yourself feel that, gently, not as an excitement, not as something that must be preserved or photographed or held onto, just as a quiet acknowledgement, a still interior nod. Yes, this is something. This is a good thing to have seen. And then you let even that thought settle down and become part of the background. The background is warm and humming and dark and lit with shifting green light. The background is this bus, this seat, this window. The background is the slow miles passing under the wheels. The background is your own breath, going in and out, slower than before, slower even than that. The northern lights are still there. They will continue to be there long after the bus has rounded a distant curve, and you can no longer see this particular stretch of sky. They do not need you to witness them. But for now, while you are here and they are there, you are together in this dark, and that is its own kind of quiet companionship. Another tendril of light detaches from the main body of the aurora and rises. It is slower than the others, barely moving at all, just rising, fraction by fraction, into the upper sky, like something very tall and very patient getting slowly to its feet. It has the translucent quality of breath on a cold day, that quality of something visible that is also almost nothing, present and disappearing at the same moment. You watch it rise, and somewhere in the watching, in the slow passage of your eyes from its base to its fading tip and back again, you feel something in your mind ease very gently, like the last small knot in a long piece of rope, worked loose at last by patient fingers. Not a dramatic release, not a moment of revelation, just a quiet, private yielding. The last bit of the day letting go. Your eyes fall closed. They stay closed this time. The aurora continues behind your eyelids as a warm impression of green and white, soft, still, moving very slowly in the dark of your closed eyes like a memory of a thing you loved. The bus hums. The road whispers. The seat holds you. You breathe in. You breathe out. The world outside is very large and very dark and very still, and above it the lights continue their slow ancient dance, and somewhere ahead of you is a destination you will reach when you reach it, and there is nothing at all that needs to be done right now. Nothing at all. Just this. Just the warm seat and the dark window and the slow green light and the breathing. Just the breathing. In and out, and in and out. The road turns very slightly. You feel it as a gentle pressure, your body leaning just the smallest amount toward the window before the road straightens again. You do not open your eyes. You simply feel it, register it, let it pass. The bus knows the road. The road knows where it is going. You do not need to. You are resting now. Your breath has settled into the long, slow rhythm of deep rest. Each inhale lifts your chest just slightly, easily, without effort. Each exhale lasts a beat longer than the inhale, letting everything go, releasing everything that was being held. The northern lights outside are still dancing. They have no way of knowing about you, warm in your seat, eyes closed, drifting. They are doing what they have always done, moving in their slow, electrical quiet through the high, cold darkness, painting the sky in colors that have no names in any language, because no language needed to name them before people started looking at the sky. But you are part of this night, all the same. You and the moss and the lava and the cold water of the sleeping lakes, all part of the same dark, the same silence, the same slow turning of the world through another night. You drift a little further. The sounds of the bus become softer. The hum of the engine drops in pitch, or perhaps your ears have simply relaxed past the point of sharp listening. Everything now is felt more than heard. The vibration of the road through the seat, the faint warmth of the air from the heating vent somewhere near your feet, the slight weight of your hands in your lap, the weight of your eyelids, the weight of your shoulders sinking deeper, the weight of everything that has been carried today, releasing itself into the warmth of the seat, into the quiet of the night bus, into the dark and peaceful journey through the Icelandic night. Outside, the aurora shifts. A long, slow wave of brighter green passes through the display from east to west, unhurried and complete, like a note played on an instrument so large you can only feel it and not quite hear it. The wave passes. The lights settle back to their gentle, steady glow. The lava fields sleep on either side of the road. A small lake appears for a moment beyond the right edge of the road, visible because the aurora is reflected in it. Just a dark oval of very still water, and in it a soft smear of green light. The reflection and the reality perfectly still, perfectly together. The bus passes it and it is gone. The road continues. You continue. Further into the night, further into the quiet, further into the warm, suspended state between waking and sleeping, where the world is still present but has grown soft and rounded at the edges, where sounds have become textures, where thoughts have become shapes, where nothing is urgent and nothing is sharp and nothing asks anything of you at all. The bus driver shifts slightly in his seat, a small movement, a readjustment. His hands move on the wheel and then are still again. He knows this road. He has driven it many times before. He will drive it through this night without incident, without drama, bringing his few quiet passengers along this route with the same steady competence he brings to it every time. You are in good hands. You have always been in good hands on this journey. Your breath goes out very slowly, completely, and then without any effort from you, it comes back in, just as slowly, just as completely. Your body knows how to do this. It has always known. It does not need you to supervise it. It breathes, it rests, it repairs itself in sleep with the same patient competence the bus driver brings to the road. You can let it do its work. You can let everything do its work. The world outside will continue its quiet revolution. The stars will hold their positions in the sky. The aurora will move through the long, dark hours of the Icelandic night. The lava fields will rest under the stars as they have rested for centuries. The still lakes will reflect the sky. The road will run north and west toward wherever it is going. And you will rest, deeply, completely, in the warm seat of the last bus through Iceland, moving slowly through the dark. Let your hands grow heavy. Your hands are resting in your lap, and they are growing heavy now, pleasantly heavy, as if they are becoming part of the seat, part of the warmth, part of the stillness. You do not need your hands right now. They can rest. They can be heavy. They can let go of everything they have been holding today, every task and grip and effort. Let them go loose. Let them soften. Let them simply rest there, quiet and still and warm. Your feet are resting flat on the floor of the bus. Feel the floor beneath them, solid, stable, the floor of the bus that carries you forward. Your feet do not need to do anything. They are resting on something solid, and they can simply rest there completely without any readiness or tension. Let your ankles soften. Let the arches of your feet relax. Let your toes uncurl just slightly. Let your legs be heavy. Your legs have carried you through the day. They have done their work. Now they can rest. Feel them grow heavy against the seat, sinking into the cushion, supported completely. You do not need to hold yourself up. The seat does that. The seat has you. Let your legs be as heavy as they want to be. Let your back soften against the seat back, each vertebra releasing, each muscle along your spine letting go of the small amount of effort it has been making. The seat back holds you. You do not need to hold yourself. Breathe into your back. Feel it expand very gently against the cushion with each inhale. Feel it release completely with each exhale. Softer, more still, more completely at rest. Let your shoulders fall. They may have been carrying something. They usually are without you noticing. Let them fall now. Just let them drop a little, however far they want to fall. Let them be heavy. Let them stop working. They have done enough today. Let your arms be loose. From shoulder to elbow to wrist to the tips of your fingers, a slow, warm loosening, everything releasing downward, everything giving up the effort of holding itself together. Just soft weight, just warmth, just rest. Let your jaw unclench. Perhaps your teeth were very slightly together. Let them part. Let your tongue rest in the floor of your mouth, soft and still. Let your lips be soft. Let the muscles of your face release every small tension they have been holding since morning. Around your eyes, your forehead, the back of your skull, let everything be smooth. Let everything be still. Your whole body, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head, resting completely, heavy and warm and still in the seat of the bus, carried forward through the dark by something that needs nothing from you. Your breath goes in, slowly. Your breath goes out, more slowly still. The northern lights are outside the window, continuing their ancient, silent movement across the sky. You may not be watching them now with your eyes, but they are there. You can feel their presence somehow in the quality of the night, in the particular texture of the dark beyond the glass. This is a rare kind of dark, a dark that has light in it, not enough to keep you awake, not enough to disturb the deep, comfortable heaviness of your resting, just enough to know that even in the darkest places, in the coldest and most remote corners of the world, there is something quiet and luminous moving through the sky. Something that has been moving through this sky for as long as there has been a sky here to move through. That thought is a comfortable thought, a thought to carry you into sleep. The bus hums, low and steady. The road whispers, long and even. The seat holds you. Completely, you are drifting now, not falling, drifting, the way a feather drifts slowly, turning gently in a current of air that moves it exactly as much as it wants to be moved and no more. Drifting forward through the dark, drifting downward into the warm depth of rest, drifting away from the sounds of the world, from the edges of things, from the parts of your mind that were still watching and waiting and listening. They can rest now, too. Everything can rest. Everything is resting. The bus slows, very slightly, almost imperceptibly, a very gentle reduction in speed, barely noticeable, the kind of adjustment a careful driver makes when approaching a long, gradual curve, when the road ahead is perfectly clear, and there is no urgency, and the only reason to slow at all is a kind of natural, instinctive care. The curve passes. The bus resumes its pace. Outside, the lava fields give way briefly to a stretch of open, gravelly ground, flat and pale under the aurora. A creek runs somewhere nearby. You can almost sense it, that particular quality in the air near moving water, even cold moving water, even a creek that makes almost no sound, just a faint aliveness, and then it is past. The road crosses a very slight depression in the land, a shallow valley you would not call a valley in any other landscape, but which here in this flatness is a distinct topographic feature. The bus dips and rises very gently, a long, slow breath of the road. The aurora is still there. It has been there through all of this, and it will continue to be there. The display has settled into something steady now, a broad, pale band of green resting quietly along the northern horizon, its upper edge diffuse and soft, blending into the stars, its lower edge more defined, resting against the dark line of the land. Occasionally, a tendril rises. Occasionally, a wave passes through the display, a slow brightening that moves from one edge to the other and then fades, but mostly it just rests. Like you, like everything, resting in the long, cold, beautiful Icelandic night. You have been on this bus for some time now. You do not know exactly how long. Time has become unmeasured, unimportant. It has the quality of sleep time, which is to say it has no particular quality at all. It is simply present passing without any particular weight. You are warm. You are still. Your breath is as slow as it has been all evening, slow and even and deep, rising and falling with the ease of something that has found its natural rhythm and settled into it without effort. The driver is still there, quiet in his seat, his silhouette unmoving against the pale light of the headlamps on the road ahead. There is something deeply reassuring about that silhouette, that steady, quiet presence in the front of the bus. Someone who knows the road, someone who is awake so that you do not have to be. You can let yourself go. You can let the last of whatever you have been holding finally, completely go. Your mind grows soft. The thoughts that were there a little while ago, the faces and memories and quiet reflections, they are still there, but they are further away now, quieter, more like suggestions than thoughts. They move across the inside of your mind the way the northern lights move across the sky, slowly, without urgency, fading before they are quite fully formed. You do not need to follow them. Let them come and let them go. Let the mind soften the way the body has softened, the way the landscape outside has softened in the dark, everything losing its edges, everything becoming simply part of the same quiet whole. The bus carries you forward. The road is still there. The northern lights are still there. The stars are still there, cold and steady and very far away, and beneath them everything is resting, the moss and the stone and the water and the air. And on the road that runs through all of it, a bus, and in the bus a few quiet figures resting in the warmth, and one of them is you, and you are drifting, drifting, drifting forward through the beautiful dark. Breathe out. The night is very deep now. It has the depth of a night that has passed its middle hours and is moving toward its far side, the side where darkness begins its slow and imperceptible thinning toward dawn, though dawn is still many hours away here, at this latitude, in this season. The aurora has been your companion for a long time. It does not tire. It does not need to rest. It moves through its own cycles without regard for the hours of the night or the turn of seasons. It is an electrical dialogue between the sun and the earth, happening at the top of the atmosphere where the air is so thin it is almost nothing, where the boundary between the world and space is just barely a boundary at all. You do not need to understand it. You only need to let it be there, outside the window, doing its slow and luminous work in the dark. The green is still pale along its upper reaches. Along its lower edge, against the horizon, it has settled into a deeper, steadier hue, the color of very dark seawater seen from above, the color of the shadow on the inside of a wave. You are not really watching it anymore. You are sensing it, feeling its presence through the glass, through the warmth of the bus, through the particular quality of the light in the night outside. It is there and you are here, and both of you are resting in the long, dark, quiet hours. Your breathing is very slow now, so slow that there are long pauses between each exhale and the next inhale. Not uncomfortable pauses, peaceful ones. The natural pause of a body that is deeply at rest, that has released its day, that has nothing left to prepare for. Your hands are very still. Your legs are very heavy. Your eyes, behind their closed lids, see nothing now. Just the very faintest warm darkness. The color of nothing, the shade of deep rest. The bus hums. One note, unchanging. The road whispers. One sound, unchanging. You are on a bus in Iceland, and above you the northern lights are painting the sky, and the lava fields are sleeping, and the cold lakes are reflecting the stars, and somewhere ahead of you the road continues, and somewhere behind you the last town has long since faded into the dark, and you are between worlds, between places, between waking and sleeping, and it is perfectly safe here, perfectly warm, perfectly still. You do not need to arrive yet. You can stay here, in the between, in the warm hum of the bus, in the soft dark of the window, in the slow, slow breath. Stay here, drift here. Let this be enough. Let this be everything. The northern lights are there. You are here. The road goes on, and on, and on. Deep in the night, the aurora does something new. It is so gradual that you would not notice if you were watching for it. But somehow, resting in this soft state between waking and sleeping, you sense it rather than see it. The display above has quietly multiplied. What was one broad band has, over the course of the long, quiet hour, become several. Parallel curtains of soft light, each one slightly different in brightness, slightly different in the exactness of its green, hanging in the sky like the sheerest possible fabric, like something that would dissolve if you reached out and touched it. These curtains hang from the top of the sky, and their lower edges are uneven, irregular, moving in the slowest possible way, the way the hem of a very long dress moves in a very light breeze. You feel this rather than see it. You feel the night outside becoming slightly more luminous, the way a room becomes lighter when someone in the next room turns on a lamp. A faint, ambient brightening. The dark beyond the window is still dark, but it is a subtly more inhabited dark, a dark with company in it. The bus moves through it all without acknowledgement. Of course it does. The bus does not react to the sky. The bus does not marvel. The bus simply moves along the road at its steady pace, carrying its quiet passengers through the night, doing its one job with perfect, uncomplicated competence. There is something wonderful about that, too. Something wonderful about being in a machine that simply moves, that does not have feelings about the northern lights, or opinions about the road, or preferences about the dark. That just moves steadily through whatever the night holds, taking you with it. You are glad to be a passenger, glad to be held, glad to have nothing to do. Your breath goes out. A very long, very slow exhale, longer than usual, emptying your chest completely, letting everything go. And then a pause, a suspended moment, and then your body draws the next breath all on its own, without you deciding to breathe, without any effort. Simply the body, doing what it knows how to do. You are taken care of. In every sense that matters right now, you are completely taken care of. The bus takes care of the moving. Your body takes care of the breathing. The night takes care of the dark and the cold. The aurora takes care of the light. And you take care of nothing at all, except perhaps the gentle ongoing business of resting, which requires no care at all, which happens all by itself when everything else is finally set down. Set it down, whatever is left. If there is anything, set it down here in the warm dark of the bus, on the road through Iceland, under the northern lights. Leave it here. You do not need to carry it into sleep. The road makes a very long, very gradual turn to the west. Over the course of several kilometers, the bus describes this great slow arc, and the landscape shifts around it, and the northern lights, which were directly ahead of you in the north, slowly move into the quadrant of sky above and to your right, and then above and behind you, and finally entirely behind you as the road straightens again, pointing now into a different darkness. A darkness without the aurora directly visible, just the stars again, just the cold, clear stars in their thousands, unmoving, unwavering, scattered from horizon to horizon in patterns so old they have no names, except the names people gave them long after the patterns were already there. You cannot see them from your window, exactly. Your window faces south now, away from the brightest part of the display. But you know they are there, the lights, just behind you and to the north, continuing their patient performance for the lava fields and the sleeping lakes and the cold air and anyone else who might be watching. The stars in your window are enough, more than enough. They are so many and so still and so far away that looking at them is itself a kind of rest. There is nothing for your mind to do with a sky full of stars. There is no pattern to solve, no story to follow. Just the cold, deep abundance of them, each one its own sun, each one at a distance so vast it cannot be imagined. Let the mind rest in that. Let the inability to imagine it be restful. You do not need to imagine everything. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to be here now, in this warmth, with this darkness outside, and these stars, and this slow forward motion. That is all. That is more than enough. The bus hums. Your breath goes in and out. The stars are there. Another few kilometers. And then, as the road describes a very long and gradual rightward bend, the aurora comes back into your window. It appears first as just a brightening at the far left edge of the glass, a pale green glow along the bottom of the window, creeping in from the edge. And then, as the bus continues to turn, more of the display comes into view, the familiar curtains of light, still moving in their slow and patient way, still painting the sky with their cold, luminous green. They have been doing this the whole time you were not watching. They did not need you to watch. But here they are again, and here you are, and the reunion is as quiet and unremarkable and pleasant as finding a known thing in a familiar place. Hello, lights. You are still here. I am still here. We are both still here. The bus carries you slowly through the field of their light. The lava field here is particularly flat, and the aurora reflects off a small area of standing water on its surface, just barely. A faint green smear on the dark ground. A small mirror showing a small piece of the sky. You see it, and then you pass it, and then another. A slightly larger stretch of standing water. Darker, stiller, holding the green light in it without comment. The whole landscape tonight is full of these small, quiet mirrors. The eyes of the lava fields, reflecting the sky. Looking upward from the ground, the way you are looking upward from the bus. Watching the same lights, part of the same night. Your eyes are very heavy. They have been heavy for a long time now. They open and close on their own schedule, not yours. And the intervals between the opening and closing are growing. The closed intervals are lasting longer. The pictures inside your closed eyes are lasting longer too. The aurora has moved inside. It lives now in the warm dark behind your eyelids. A soft, ambient green, moving very gently, like sunlight seen through the surface of shallow water when you are lying just below it, and the world above is very quiet. You are very nearly asleep. You have been very nearly asleep for some time. The last little distance between where you are and where sleep begins is very small. Just a few more slow breaths. Just a little more of the warmth of the seat soaking into you. Just a little more of the hum of the engine working its way through the cushion and into your resting body. The bus will carry you. The road will carry the bus. The night will carry the road. Everything is carrying everything. Nothing falls. Nothing is lost. Your breath goes out, so slow, so complete, and does not come back for a long moment. A long, suspended, perfect moment of stillness. And then, without effort, without any choosing, it comes back in, softly, all the way in, and then slowly, slowly back out. The aurora is there. The stars are there. The lava fields are sleeping. The still lakes are dreaming the sky. The road goes on. The bus goes on. And you, warm and held and drifting in the seat by the dark window, you go on too, down and down into the deep warm quiet of sleep, further and further from the waking day, carried gently through the Icelandic night by something steady and reliable and good. Down and down and down. The lights are still there. They will be there for hours yet. Pale green curtains hanging in the cold dark sky above the volcanic plain, above the frost-edged stones, above the still lakes, above the road and the bus and the sleeping passengers inside it, moving in their ancient, electrical, silent way, not for anyone in particular, not needing to be seen, just there as they have always been there on every clear night above this latitude, doing the quiet and mysterious thing that they do. The bus hums on through the dark, the road stretches ahead, and you sleep, warm, still, completely. In the last bus through Iceland on a night when the sky was full of light, the bus is very quiet now. It has been quiet for a long time, but this quiet is different. It is the quiet of the deepest part of the night, when even the small sounds that fill a space have settled. The creak of the chassis, the faint breath of the heating system, the soft, infrequent movements of the other passengers in their seats. All of it has subsided into something more perfect, more complete. Just the engine, just the road, just the breathing, yours slow and deep. The buses, that low, continuous mechanical breath that has been part of this whole journey from the beginning. You have stopped hearing it as a sound and started feeling it as a presence, a warmth, a low, sustaining vibration that passes through the seat and through your back and through your shoulders and into the back of your skull and your jaw and your temples. It is like being gently, continuously, very lightly held. Not tightly, not with any pressure or weight, just the faintest continuous contact between your resting body and this warm, moving thing that carries you. Like a palm held just above you, not quite touching, just close enough to feel its warmth. You settle deeper into that warmth. Let it be all around you. The seat from below, the warmth from the heating vent near your feet, the glass, which is cool but not cold, resting just a few centimeters from your face, the coat around your shoulders, soft and familiar. You are completely enclosed in warmth and quiet. Outside the warmth and quiet, the world continues. The night continues. The lava fields pass, slowly, slowly, one dark, irregular stretch after another, each one like the previous one, and each one entirely itself. No two sections of lava field are quite the same. Here the rock is broken into smaller pieces, scattered across the ground like a giant's discarded puzzle. Here it flows in long, smooth curves, the shape of the molten stone still visible in the way it cooled, the way you can sometimes see the shape of a wave in stone that was once the sea floor. And here, a section of smoother lava. The surface here is rounded and folded, like fabric, smooth curves that record the motion of the liquid stone as it slowed and stopped. All of this in the dark outside the bus. All of this below the aurora. All of this around the road that carries you forward. You know none of it while you sleep. And you know all of it somehow, too, in the way that sleeping bodies know the environments they move through, taking it in through senses that do not require wakefulness, absorbing the quality of a place through the quality of the air, the subtle information carried in the changing composition of the dark. You are part of this landscape tonight, even asleep, even enclosed in the warm bus, even without seeing any of it. You are part of this night. The dreams change as the night deepens. Not that you know this, not that you follow them. They are happening at a level below following, below narrating, below any kind of awareness that could be brought back into waking. But the dreams are there, quiet dreams, the kind of dreams that match the night outside them. Long, slow dreams without drama. Dreams in which you are walking, perhaps, along a road that stretches ahead of you into a pale green dark, and the walking is easy, and the road is smooth, and there is no urgency about the destination, and the air on your face is cool and clean. Dreams in which you are lying on something very soft, and above you the sky is vast and dark and full of stars, and you are not cold, and you are not alone, and there is nothing you need to do. Dreams in which you are watching a light move very slowly across a dark background, and the movement is soothing, and you watch without watching, receive without receiving, and the watching and the receiving are themselves a kind of rest. All the dreams of this night are rest. All the dreams of this night are the mind doing what it does when the day is done and the body is safe and the world outside is enormous and cold and beautiful and asking nothing. The mind rests in its own particular way, with its own particular dreams, and the body rests around it, and the seat holds the body, and the bus carries the seat, and the road carries the bus, and the dark land carries the road, and the dark sky carries the land, and the aurora carries the sky, and all of it together carries you. 3 hours before dawn, the northern sky changes. The aurora, which has been displaying continuously for most of the night, shifts into a different mode. The broad, curtained bands of green slowly begin to narrow and concentrate, pulling inward from their widest extent, becoming more defined rather than more diffuse. The color deepens. The green becomes, in the space of perhaps 20 minutes, a richer, more saturated green than anything it has been all night. Not brighter exactly, more present, more specific. The way a piece of music becomes more present when it resolves toward a particular note. And then, at the very peak of this deepening, something else appears. Along the upper edge of the brightest band, where the green is richest, a thin line of violet appears. Not a large addition, not a dramatic change, just a narrow band of violet, the color of deep water above a white sand bottom, the color of the inside of a very dark purple flower seen in very good light. It is there for perhaps 10 minutes. The lava fields see it. The frost-edged stones see it. The still, dark water of the small lake sees it and holds it, reflected, upside down and perfect. And then it fades. Quietly, without announcement, the violet disappears back into the green, and the green itself begins to soften and spread again, releasing the concentrated intensity it briefly held, returning to its gentle, diffuse presence in the lower sky. The display continues, but something has passed. Some peak of the night has been reached and passed. The aurora continues, but with the quality of a performance in its later stages, still full and present, still beautiful, but moving now in the direction of rest, the way everything eventually moves in the direction of rest, the way you moved in the direction of rest hours ago, and found it, and are still in it, resting, deeply, completely. The road turns south. This is the first significant change in direction since the bus left the town behind. For most of the night, the road has been running roughly northwest into the empty heart of the lava plain. Now it begins to arc southward, heading toward a coast, toward a small settlement some kilometers away where the bus will make its next scheduled stop. The arc is gradual, so gradual that the bus describes it over the course of several kilometers, the landscape rotating slowly around the axis of your journey like a very slow, very deliberate turn. The northern sky, which has been in your window for much of the night, slowly moves to the left edge of the glass, and then behind you, the aurora goes with it. For a long moment, it is half visible, the left portion of the display showing in the left quarter of your window, the rest invisible behind the roof and wall of the bus. Then even that quarter fades as the road continues its arc, and then it is gone from your window. Only the stars remain, cold, steady, abundant, familiar in their ancient patterns and familiar in their indifference. But the aurora is still there, of course, still there behind you, still painting the sky to the north, still doing its quiet, electrical, beautiful work above the lava plain that is now passing behind the bus. Just no longer in your window, and it does not matter. You are asleep. You have been asleep for a long time. The window and what it shows or does not show is none of your concern right now. Your concern is only this: the breathing, the warmth, the deep, untroubled rest. That is all the concern you have. That is exactly enough. The bus slows. Gently, gradually, the way it has slowed for curves and dips all through the night. But this time it does not speed up again. This time the slowing continues, the engine dropping in pitch, the tires going quieter on the road until the bus is moving at a crawl. There is a small settlement. Half a dozen lights, pale and yellow, scattered across a flat area near the coast. The coast is not visible in the dark, but the quality of the air near it is different. A slight heaviness, a faint mineral saltiness that passes through the bus's heating system and into the interior, the smell of the sea. The bus pulls into a small gravel area beside a low building, a petrol station. Closed at this hour, its forecourt lit by a single overhead light casting a circle of pale yellow on the gravel. No other vehicles, no people, just the building and the light and the silence. The bus stops. The engine cuts to idle. The door opens with a soft hiss of compressed air. The driver steps out again briefly. He stretches. He walks slowly across the gravel, his footsteps very quiet in the deep night. He looks at the sky for a moment, out over the dark sea. He breathes the salt air. There is no sound from the sea. The water here is very calm tonight, sheltered from the wind, lying flat and dark, and still against the dark rocks of the shore. The aurora to the north is still visible from here, a pale suggestion above the hills. The stars above the sea are uninterrupted, reaching from the northern hills down to the horizon of the water, and then reflecting in the water itself, a second sky below the first. The driver stands for a moment. Then he gets back on the bus. The door closes. The engine shifts from idle to motion. The bus pulls back out onto the road and continues, and you sleep through all of it. The stop and the start, and the salt air and the quiet footsteps on the gravel. You sleep through the petrol station's single light, and the reflected stars in the dark sea, and the pale last hint of the aurora over the northern hills. You sleep through it all. You are very far away. You are in the deep country of sleep, where there are no petrol stations and no coasts and no gravel and no pale yellow lights, where there is only warmth and darkness and the slow breath and the profound, unguarded rest of a body that has finally, completely let go. The road turns east for a while after the settlement, following the coastline, which runs east and west in this section before turning south again toward the next town. The road is still empty. At this hour, at this latitude, in this season, there is nothing moving on this road except the bus. The sea is to the right now, just beyond the low rise of the volcanic coast. You cannot see it from the window, but it is there, that vast, dark, indifferent body of water, the North Atlantic, stretching away east and west and north for hundreds and thousands of kilometers without interruption. Cold, deep, full of its own kind of darkness. The bus moves alongside it for several kilometers. The salt air is present now in the interior of the bus, very faintly, a trace of something that has traveled a great distance to arrive here. From somewhere in the middle of the ocean, carried on a wind that has been blowing for days, mixing with the mineral cold of the land and the warmth of the bus's heating and finally arriving, diluted and gentle, in the air you are breathing as you sleep. You breathe it in without knowing. Your body receives it without comment. The salt of the deep sea, mixed with the warmth of the bus and the deep dark of the Icelandic night. The night is moving toward its far side now. Not dawn. Not yet. Dawn in Iceland in this season comes late and comes slowly, a long grey approach before the sky finally commits to light. And that approach is still hours away. But there is something, a very subtle change in the quality of the dark. Not a brightening, more like a relaxing. The night, having held its deepest dark for its appointed hours, beginning very, very slowly to release the intensity of it, the way a held breath eventually, inevitably, begins to release. Not yet dawn, but no longer the deepest dark of midnight either, something in between, the between time, when the night begins to know that it is not permanent, when the dark begins its very long, very slow negotiation with the approaching light. It will take hours yet, and in those hours you will continue to sleep. You will breathe and dream and rest and be carried forward, and the dark will soften by such imperceptible degrees that no single moment of it is distinguishable from the one before or after, and the bus will carry you along the coast and then south and eventually to wherever you are going. And when you arrive, you will wake, gently, slowly, the way you wake from a very good sleep, without alarm, without urgency, without any need to be anywhere for a few more minutes yet. You will wake, and the window will show you wherever you have arrived, and the seat will be the same seat, warm and still. And the last memory of the night, the last image behind your eyes before they open fully, will be a pale green light moving very slowly across a dark sky, moving the way all beautiful things move, without hurry, without destination, simply present for as long as they are present and then gone. But that is later. Right now it is still the deep night. Right now the bus is still moving through the dark lava plain. Right now the aurora, somewhere behind and to the north of you, is still doing its slow and luminous thing above the cold land. Right now you are sleeping, so deeply, so completely. Every part of you is resting. Your body is resting. Your mind is resting. Even the very deep places, the places that rarely rest, the places that stay alert through ordinary sleep, alert to sound and danger and the need to act, even those places have found their rest tonight, rocked into quiet by the long hours and the warmth and the extraordinary ordinary miracle of the bus moving through the dark. Everything resting, everything safe, everything held. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. The bus moves. The night continues. The road goes on. There are places in Iceland that have no names, not unnamed in the sense of being overlooked or forgotten. Unnamed because names are a human thing, and humans have not needed to name every stretch of a lava plain that looks much like every other stretch of lava plain, every small lake that reflects the sky, just as the lake 5 kilometers away reflects the sky. Every patch of moss that covers the rock in the same grey-green carpet, it covers every other rock. The bus passes through many of these unnamed places tonight, places that are not destinations, and never have been. Places that exist entirely for themselves, not for anyone who might pass through them. The lava is there because the lava is there. The moss is there because the moss is there. The sky is above because the sky is above. The water is still because the water is still. None of it arranged for you. None of it arranged for anyone. Just the world, doing its world things, in a place where the world has been left to do them without too much interference. There is something deeply restful about the idea of that. Something that meets a need in the sleeping mind, perhaps. The need to know that the world does not depend on you, that it does not require your attention or your care or your presence to continue being itself, that the moss will be there when you are not there to see it, that the lava will be there when you are not there to name it, that the sky will continue its business, with or without eyes to watch it. You can let go of it all, does not need you to hold it. It holds itself. Everything holds itself, and you are held, let it be so. The road passes a glacier, not close enough to see it even in daylight from this road. But the glacier is there, inland, white and permanent, visible on clear days as a white presence in the distance. Tonight it is invisible, lost in the dark, but its cold is there. A particular kind of cold that is different from the cold of the sea, from the cold of the air, from the cold of the frost on the lava stones. Glacial cold. The cold of something ancient and compressed and patient. Ice formed from snow that fell centuries ago, pressed down and down by the weight of more centuries of snow, transformed from something light and individual into something dense and collective and enduring. The cold of deep time. The cold of patience that goes beyond any human understanding of patience. The bus passes through the edge of this cold. Very briefly, just a degree or two of temperature difference in the air, barely measurable, certainly not perceptible in the warmth of the bus. Just the glacier doing its thing, radiating its cold into the dark, contributing its particular presence to the larger composition of the night. You breathe in. You do not know about the glacier. You know nothing right now. You are in the deep country of sleep where knowing is not required. You breathe out. There is a sound, barely a sound, more like the memory of a sound. A very low, very faint tone that lies just below the frequency of ordinary hearing, felt more in the chest than heard in the ears. It lasts for perhaps 3 seconds, and then it is gone. Perhaps the engine shifted into a slightly different register for a moment, climbing a very slight grade in the road. Perhaps it was something in the structure of the bus, a harmonic of the road surface, a temporary resonance between the speed and the surface and the shape of the vehicle. Perhaps it was nothing. Perhaps you did not hear it at all. You are asleep. The sound, if it was a sound, touched the very outermost surface of your sleep and was absorbed into it the way a stone is absorbed into still water with no lasting disturbance, just a tiny and instantaneous spread of rings that calm before they reach the shore. The calm returns. The silence of sleep returns. Breathes in, breathes out. The bus has been moving for a very long time now. Not in any way that troubles you. Not in any way that suggests something is wrong or that you have missed anything or that the journey will not end. Everything is exactly as it should be. The bus is on the road. The road is in Iceland. Iceland is on the earth. The earth is turning very slowly in the dark, carrying Iceland and the bus and the road and the aurora, and you through another deep, cold, beautiful night. Everything is exactly where it should be. Including you, you are exactly where you should be, in this seat, in this bus, in this night, in this sleep. There is nowhere else you should be. There is nothing else you should be doing. This is it. This is the whole of what is required. The breathing, the warmth, the rest. Let the rest do the rest. Let the night carry what the night carries. Let the bus carry what the bus carries. Let sleep carry you. down into its own country, through its own dark, by its own particular and gentle roads. Somewhere north of you, the aurora is changing, not ending, not yet, but changing the way all things change through the course of a long night, following their own internal rhythm, their own relationship with the sun that is now on the other side of the world, still sending its streams of charged particles toward the Earth's magnetic field, where they will spend themselves in light. The curtains that were broad and sweeping earlier in the night have narrowed. They are still there, still green, still moving in their slow, electrical way. But they are narrower now, more concentrated, like a wide river that has reached a narrower valley and has no choice but to deepen as it narrows, its current stronger and more focused. The color is deeper for this. The green is not the pale, diffuse green of earlier in the night. It is a more definite green, a green that knows what it is, still beautiful, still soft at the edges, but somehow more itself. This is the aurora's late-night self. As different from its early-night self as a person is different in the small hours from the way they were at dusk, more settled, less expansive, quieter, more inward. The lava fields below it are faintly lit by this concentrated light, just barely, just enough to make the dark land slightly less than entirely dark, just enough to give the frost on the rocks a faint luminescence, a cold gleaming that does not warm anything but that is, nonetheless, beautiful. The frost is beautiful. The lava is beautiful. The dark is beautiful. The aurora is beautiful. All of it together, in the deep hours of the Icelandic night, is beautiful in the way that things are beautiful when there is no one there to see them, when the beauty is entirely for itself, when it has nothing to prove and no audience to please and no reason to be anything other than exactly what it is. That is the deepest beauty, and you are moving through it in your sleep. Your hands are entirely still. They have been still for hours. Resting in your lap, loose and open, the fingers slightly curled, the way hands naturally fall when they have given up every task and simply rest. They are warm. The warmth of the bus has moved through them and settled in them, and they are just warm, dark, still things resting in the warmth. Your feet are still. They have been still for hours, too. Flat on the floor, carrying no weight, doing nothing, not ready to stand or walk or run. Just resting there, held up by the floor, which is held up by the frame of the bus, which is held up by the wheels, which are held up by the road, which is held up by the land. Everything held up by everything else. Nothing falling, everything resting on everything. You rest on the seat. The seat rests on the bus rests on the road rests on the land rests on the earth rests in its orbit, the orbit rests in the gravity of the sun, and the sun rests in the slow turning of the galaxy, which rests in the incomprehensible structure of the universe, which rests in something that has no name because no one has ever gotten far enough from it to give it one. Everything resting, everything held, including you, especially you, in this seat, in this bus, in this night. Rest, just rest. There is nothing to attend to. There is nothing to decide. There is nothing to remember or prepare for or worry about. There is only this, the warmth, the dark, the breath, the long, slow, beautiful nothing of deep sleep. Let it hold you. It will hold you for as long as you need it. It will carry you through the dark to the other side. And on the other side there will be light. Eventually, the slow, grey Icelandic dawn rising over the volcanic plain, finding you in your warm seat, carrying you gently back to waking. But not yet, not for a long time yet. For now there is only this, the deep sleep, the warm bus, the dark road, the lava plain extending away on either side into the cold and enormous night. And above it all, fading now, but still present, still moving, still painting the sky with its cold and luminous green, the aurora, still there, carrying you, as everything carries you, as everything has always carried you, as you carry nothing right now, nothing at all, just this warmth, just this dark, just this breath. In and out, sleep, good night. Good night, Iceland. Good night, aurora. Good night, dark road. Good night, warm bus. Good night, frost and lava and still water and cold stars. Good night, everything. Good night, sleep.